Welcome to Ep 3 of the Horton Hangout. I'm Laura Horton and I'm here with my co-host, Leanna Best.
Hi, hi.
Just to add that Leanna is my lead trainer for Horton Consulting. You're not just my co-host.
I'm your everything.
You are my everything. What would I be without you?
What would I be without you?
Exactly. Right, okay. So in this podcast, as usual, we have confessions of, we have banned words, and we have a Horton Hangout question. All of this has been sent in from you. It is confidential. So if you've got stories to share, please send them. If you've got questions you want answering, please send them. The details are all in the show notes. At the time of filming, we're coming up to the Dentistry Show at the NEC.
Yeah.
Looking forward to that?
I am looking forward to that, actually, because the times I've been to anything like that before, I've been speaking. So that's not as relaxed and enjoyable, maybe, as I feel that I'm going to have this. I'm going into it relaxed. You know, I'm intrigued. Normally, most of the day, I'm thinking about myself, self-interested, but we are where we are, aren't we, when we're speaking? So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And we get to hang out.
I'm really happy about all those things, but just to let you know, you might be speaking.
No, I'm not. Are you joking? Are you joking? What? Oh, that's so unfair. Don't tell me now.
I will be too.
This is what she does to me, guys. This is what she does. Go on. Tell me then. What am I doing?
I won't say just in case it doesn't come up.
Okay. Well, I might be speaking, so I'm having a different experience.
Yeah, but we're still going to have a lovely time.
Okay.
We'll meet up the night before, have a nice dinner in our secret hotel that we'll never tell anyone about. Because it's so good.
It's so nice. I wonder if that man's still there.
Oh, the waiter.
Oh.
Gosh, we love him.
We were employing him at one point.
Oh, we were
with
like,
no practice or any opportunity to give him a job.
No, but I would employ him.
We liked him so much that on the course the next day, we told a story about him.
We did. We said, if any of you had local practices and were looking for someone for front of house, you've got to go to this place, to this restaurant, and I'm not going to name it on the pod because I don't want my hotel rooms booked up and can never get in there.
Yeah.
But this is where you got to go and find this man, because we remembered his name because it was only the day after.
Oh.
And this guy needs a job. This guy is busting a gut, working serious hours.
Oh.
The hours he's at home, his wife is working. They don't see each other. They're working 7 days a week. They've got 2 young kids. And his customer service is exceptional. I had forgotten about him until you mentioned that.
Did you? I would never. He cares so much about his job, doesn't he?
Yeah.
And being somebody that delivers amazing experience, I would say.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
And he remembers us.
He remembers us every time.
Or is that weird because we keep going back?
He remembers us.
Nice.
He's great.
It's lovely.
He's great.
Lovely.
Okay, so time for banned words. Leanna, let's kick off with you.
Take a seat.
Oh.
Take a seat.
I've actually had, have you seen this?
No.
I've actually had a patient walk up to a chair and pick it up and say, what do I do with it now?
Do you reckon they were nervous?
I thought, no, he's an Essex cheeky chappy.
Trying to be funny.
Trying to be funny.
Oh, right, okay.
But I didn't get it.
No.
I was like, what is this man doing holding a chair?
It's
and
silly.
he's looking at me and he thought he was laughing. And I was like, oh, are you okay? And he was like, yeah, you said take a seat, so I've picked one up. And I was like, and I just said, oh, I don't get it. And he must have thought I was so thick, but I was just bamboozled by what on earth was going on here.
Good word, bamboozled.
Yeah, I don't know where that came from.
Yeah, it was great.
Good. And he was like, oh. And then he put the seat down and sat on it.
Awkward for him now, though, isn't it? Because you've picked a chair up.
Yeah, I've probably made it more awkward for him now. But that landed with me. And ever since, I've not used it.
Make yourself comfortable.
Make yourself comfortable. And the reason that word comfortable is so important is because That's the word we want patients to hear in a dental clinic, in a dental setting, because it's not a word they often associate with dentistry, is the word comfortable
They don't.
or comfort. So whenever a patient arrives at our front of house, they're asked to make themselves comfortable while we make them a refreshment. I'm just going to chuck another one in here while we're on this. I'm getting mine in now.
Do it.
So we don't offer a drink.
No.
Do you want a drink? Right? We offer a refreshment. Would you like a tea, coffee or cold drink? And when they say they want tea or they want coffee, what type of coffee would you like? And we've got a list.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
I would be thrilled.
You can have a latte, a cappuccino.
Can I have a caramel macchiato?
Probably.
I'm really playing.
I don't know what it is.
No, I wouldn't have that anyway.
My problem is I don't drink coffee. So when they're like, yeah, can I have Americano? I'm like...
That's just no milk.
Yeah, I've got there now.
Oh, actually, no, it isn't. You can have but they would say an Americano with milk.
Right, okay.
I'll train you.
No, I'm trained now.
Okay, good.
Yeah, it's been a year.
So you've got a lovely machine.
We've got a lovely machine. I don't have to do it that often. So as you can
Right.
tell, it's a bit of a struggle. And I think,
Yeah.
oh, please want tea. Please want tea. But no, I can use the machine. We've got a
Good.
system for that, you see. But that's another one, refreshment. And again, when they're taken to the treatment room,
Yes.
and they come into the treatment room, again, we don't say take a seat. We say make yourself comfortable. So these are just little tweaks that people can use that have got that positive impact on our patients without even realising it.
Yeah.
I'm often asked, have I ever explored NLP, taken NLP classes? I haven't. And many that have been down the NLP journey are quite surprised by that because this is part of NLP. By all accounts, I could be completely wrong, but that's what I've understood from comments that have been made after being asked, have you ever done NLP? No, I haven't. So, yeah, absolutely fantastic one. Brilliant one, Leanna.
Yeah.
Do not say take a seat and don't offer them a drink. Can I throw one more in it?
Why not?
Don't tell them where the toilet is. Can't bear toilet.
Bathroom.
Bathroom.
Remember washroom from the other week?
Yes, we were in a hotel.
Yeah.
And it was the washroom.
Yeah, it's very
Which
American.
is, not to offend anyone who's American, by the way, but
No.
it's very American. I wouldn't use that in my practice because I think it sounds a bit...
I think in a hotel it works. In a dental
Yeah.
practice doesn't work.
No, and then people go, but there's not a bath in there. Look, it's better than saying, there's the toilet, there's the loo.
Yeah.
Yeah? The bathroom is at the end of corridor to the right.
Yeah.
Sounds so much more professional than the toilet's up there or the bog.
Oh gosh, can you imagine the bog?
I don't think anyone would ever say that, but I mean, I've heard some things.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So news now, dental news, and this isn't just dental news. This
is news.
This is news. This has made, I'd imagine, the front pages if newspapers were still a thing. Well, they are still a thing, actually, aren't they?
They are good.
Yeah, yeah.
I like seeing I'm going to say people because I won't put an age on it, going to the shop early in the
it's
morning,
cute, isn't it?
getting their newspaper.
Getting their little newspaper.
Yeah, and they're always well-to-do, look
Oh,
nice,
always got a nice
dressed
cardi
up to the
on.
nines.
Yeah, lovely. So it's made news, and actually, I had quite an interesting conversation with my friend who I play golf with as well about this, and also Joe Frost, Super Nanny's, made some comments as well. I don't know if you've seen that.
No, I haven't seen this.
So first of all, then, we all know what it's about. So
Yeah.
teachers getting children to brush their teeth, teaching children to brush their teeth at school. What's your initial thoughts on it?
So initially I was like, no, because who's training these teachers on how to brush your teeth effectively? And the reason why I say that is because we used to do really thorough hygienist appointments and where we would do the plaque score. These are grown adults in great professions that were not brushing their teeth well at all. And yes, we would get their plaque score down, but that was through education and teaching them how to do it in the right way. Now, we are expecting people who are already snowed under with their workload to then take on a whole new project and understand and mentor children in a way in which they don't have the clear idea of how to do that. So if there is a clear strategy and plan and to train these teachers how to do that, then I am all for it. But my concerns are, how effective is it going to be? But then flip side to that is, doing something is better than nothing for these children that don't do anything at all. So I'm on the fence. I understand both sides of the coin here. But my initial thought was, well, who's going to train these teachers?
Yeah. I was initially also against this, and for the same reasons as yourself. And I've completely flipped to the other side the more I've looked into it. And the reason I've done that is because, one, I met a lady who's a receptionist in a dental practice who used to be, I'm not sure if she was a teacher or teaching assistant, but she definitely worked in a school. And she said that probably, 1 in 5 of the children owned a toothbrush in this primary school. And that broke my heart. That really impacted me. A bit like when there was some reading event when my son was probably only about 9 months old. I can't remember what it was. And the health visitor gave us a book. And I said, oh, that's very kind. How come we're getting a book? Because, again, 1 in 5 children never own a book before the age of 5 going to school. And I was like, whoa. So the reason I've been swung is also due to a patient that I've met recently. Who was 24 with gross caries. And I was having my best day in the sense of I got to teach him and show him on models how to brush his teeth. And he'd never been shown. And had he been shown, would he be sat there as a 24-year-old? Had he had the education? And I completely agree with you that you're actually going to be asking teachers, teaching assistants, essentially a generation, 2 generations, 3, 4, 5 generations of people to show children how to brush their teeth when they've never even been taught themselves. And they're not effective at removing plaque themselves at home anyway. And then we're asking them to show children. And that's an issue. And that is a worry. And if it's done right, it's done right. Great. I'm going into my son's school quite soon. I'm going into his school to be talking about, sugars, brushing your teeth, etc., etc. All of those things that children need to know about. So I feel we've got to do something. And Jackie, who I played golf with, her debate was, it's lazy parenting. It's lazy parenting if you're not going to teach your children to brush their teeth or make sure they brush their teeth. And I totally get that side of it as well. But unfortunately, it goes beyond lazy parenting.
I was going to say that, it does go beyond that.
It's neglect.
It is.
There are children that are being neglected in their own homes. And if they don't have a toothbrush or they're not being watched when brushing their teeth or helped, depending upon their age, then as a society, let's just do something about it. Because why should these children then have to have all this really negative dental experience?
GA.
Going
under GA at a young age, having teeth removed.
It's wrong.
It is so wrong.
It's
actually really, it makes me so sad. Because I've got children, and obviously with the industry that we're in, I'm crazy about their teeth, Can I brush my own teeth? No. But it's just really sad state of affairs when, in this country, you would never imagine that this was something that we're, going through.
No. And I remember when I was doing my oral health education qualification, we'll talk about that another day because that changed my life.
Did it?
Changed my life. But one of the realizations that I had quite early into this was that I think I was probably maybe 21 at the time, and I quite quickly learnt that I was brushing my teeth incorrectly. And that, of course, no one's ever taught me, but I was a bit embarrassed about it because, hey, I'm a 21-year-old dental nurse who isn't brushing her teeth properly. And then, obviously, the more I thought about it, well, who else isn't brushing their teeth properly?
So many.
What's happening? What's going on? And I used to go around local brownies, Cubs, And I used to go around to all of these groups and talk to them about brushing their teeth and sugars in food and how many times they should be having sugar, because it just gave me this passion to share this knowledge. And I did that off my own back. The practice I worked in, actually, the practice manager had no interest whatsoever in me doing this. She said, you can do it if you want, but you do it in your own time and it's nothing to do with the practice.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. We had a great relationship.
I bet you did.
And I used to find these clubs in the yellow pages.
Good old yellow pages.
Yeah, and I'd go around and I'd give up, some time of my evenings.
Yeah.
Regularly working my way around these groups.
It's so important that it's not a part of the curriculum.
No.
Which is crazy.
So the other experience I then had was as a mum, and I went to this local antenatal group, which I didn't know what I was doing there because it's not really the kind of thing that I'm up for.
No.
But I went, and it was a 8-week program. And at the end of the 8-week program, they asked for feedback. And I said, I've got feedback. You haven't covered oral health in any way, shape or form. You haven't even touched on it. You've touched on, don't leave a saucepan on with the handle facing outwards. Turn it to the side.
I'm really into that.
No, so am I. But I knew that.
Yeah. It's common sense.
It's common sense, and circle all the dangers in the home on this picture we're going to print out and give you.
Yeah.
Boring.
Yeah.
And let's talk to you about weaning. No, thank you. My child's only 10 weeks old. I'm not interested in that yet. I'm not even there yet.
No.
I'm still not even here.
No, you're not. And you really aren't. No. You really aren't.
But they didn't cover that at all.
But I think they have changed it slightly in terms of bottles and cups and things like that, what causes caries on the incisors and things like that. I think so, based on what I've spoken to my cousin about, because she works really closely in this field.
Yeah.
I would say I am passionate about this campaign. I want it to go ahead, but I do think there needs to be a lot of training involved in it. It needs to be controlled. And there needs to be clear strategies before it's rolled out. Yeah,
I completely agree with you. And, if any of us in practice can get behind this within our individual communities, amazing. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
We'll do it.
Yeah, let's go and help. I've got, probably 7-8 primary schools local to me. Reach out, go and do this, see if your work will give you the time off to go and do it.
Yeah.
You can probably cover them all in one day. Just let's help the teachers who are being asked to do something additional when they're already overworked, underfunded, under pressure.
Yes. Just like previous weeks, we're now going to jump into some funny coworker nicknames. Please do share some with us. First of all, I'm going to jump straight in with Lantern. Someone who's not very bright and has to be carried.
Oh, yes. Get in. That's good.
I've had a couple of those, actually.
Yeah.
So I got another one, Nightlight. Someone who's a little dim.
Oh, brilliant. Very, very good. Okay. I've got one here. It's a bit rude. Foreskin. Disappears when things get hard.
That's great.
Okay, next one. Motion sensor. Only works when someone walks by.
Yes.
Oh,
I've been a motion sensor.
Have you?
Yeah, not like on a regular basis. Maybe like on a day when you're like, nothing's really going on, no one's in. And then the manager walks by. Oh, yeah, I was doing something.
Yeah. I just have to keep myself busy though. See, I can't be a motion sensor. I'm always on.
Yeah, I do prefer to be busy, but sometimes.
Yeah, well, at least you're honest.
Yeah, gotta be honest.
Fantastic. It's time for confessions, and we have here confessions of a receptionist. Good news this week, I've remembered my glasses. Okay, are you ready for this, Leanna?
Yes.
I was sat on the front desk on a normal day greeting patients, and this man just storms into the practice saying our air is polluted and it smells in here. With that, he took off his top and started swinging his top in the air above his head and then left. I was in complete shock and couldn't get over what just happened. He left me absolutely gobsmacked. I am not surprised. Imagine that.
Our air is polluted.
Yeah. The air's polluted.
You wouldn't be able to react to that. It would be too quick.
Take my top off.
Swing around.
Swing it around over my head and walk out. Do you reckon that was a dare?
Good. It could have been a dare. That is so dare.
That is like a dare, isn't it? This is the child in me now.
Yeah. I bet you used to do every dare, didn't you?
No.
I did.
No, I was scared.
Were you?
Yeah. I didn't.
See, that's weird. Because I think that you are more daring than me, and I'm like a bit of a scaredy cat.
I was too scared to do dares.
I wasn't.
You know, if it was truth or dare, truth all day long.
Really?
I couldn't do it. I'm too scared.
Oh, I was like, dare.
No, I didn't want to get in trouble.
Oh, good.
My parents, if listening to this, will be like, she was always in trouble. And I think that was it. I was always in trouble.
Yeah, and
let's
I wasn't.
not add to it.
Right.
Yeah, let's not add to that.
It's got to be a dare. You're exactly right.
Got to be a dare.
That's so good that you thought of that.
Got to be a dare. Right, on to the next one.
Confessions of a practice manager. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Let's go. We were holding a Macmillan coffee morning when this lady walks into the practice. When greeting her, it was firstly apparent that she wasn't a patient, but then also that she was non-verbal. It's difficult. She started pointing at the cakes. We explained these are for charity for a small donation. She then signs for a pen and paper. She begins to write if she could have two. We replied saying yes. So with that, she walks over, picks up the cakes and walks back out with them. No donation, nothing. She is verbal. She's lying.
Do you think?
Yeah, I do.
Do you think she's just... Some people are so cheeky.
Because if you're non-verbal, you can still hear.
Yeah.
So can I have two? Bye.
Yeah. She can still hear.
She can still hear. She knows she needs to pay. Or she's just had them over and she doesn't care and she is non-verbal. There is that also.
I don't know what to say about that one. I mean...
This is where, right, in life, you hear these stories, I think, and I would go out and I would say to her, please, I wouldn't.
I wouldn't.
I would be so shocked, I would let it go.
This is it. Just like the previous one, man swing the top over his head, woman comes in, takes two cakes. You'd just be shell-shocked in the moment. And you don't know what's happening.
No.
What it is, you are not in control whatsoever of the situation. They have taken all the control and you're just left there like controlless. Yeah. Is that a word?
Yeah. Out of control.
Out of control.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did I ever tell you about the time when I arrived at work and it was a crime scene?
No.
Did I not?
No, I don't know.
So
look, can I just stress here?
Yeah.
My memory's not what it used to be.
And also, dentistry is nice, guys.
Yeah.
So it was a Monday morning. So obviously Monday always feels a little bit more of a struggle, doesn't it? And I used to have to walk a bit of a walk through to like the centre to get to this place. And I had a phone call and it was one of the girls and she was like, oh, Leanna, are you on your way? Are you on your way? Really quite like... Not severely distressed, but I could tell she was anxious. Yeah. And I was like, yeah, I'm literally going to be a minute and I'll be there. She was like, okay, well, there's something that's quite serious has happened. So I thought, oh my gosh, what could it be? Like, what really happens that's serious? Maybe there's not some lab work there or something like that. Well, I arrive and I could see blood trickling down near, and then I can hear like distress. So as I approach, there's a person with a wound in their leg. Paramedics trying to deal with the situation. The person's quite clearly out of control. And I wouldn't say it's just the pain they're experiencing, but maybe behaviour issues as well. Wow. The whole of the front door being kicked in. Glass.
No. That's a terrible start to the day.
Well, lucky for me, I had a really excellent operations manager. So straight away rang her and she was amazing. She was very calm.
Yeah.
Because then I was the lead. I was expected to know what to do. And how do you know what to do in that situation?
No. But the guy as well, what happened there?
Well, they were known to the police. The police had to come, take a statement from me and everybody else that was a part of it. And then that obviously continued over a few months because they have to get all of the relevant details. And he, or they, should I say, was taken away to hospital, and the police were like, yeah, this happens a lot. Criminal damage is a thing.
Wow. And
Yeah.
then injuring
Injuring
themselves.
themselves. Yeah.
God.
And then they said the problem is they won't stay in hospital for long enough to get any sort of well-being assessment.
Right.
So then the
okay.
cycle continues.
Yeah. Wow.
Crazy stuff.
Well, that's a lovely start to the week, wasn't it?
I was so stressed out. I really didn't know what to do. The team were great anyway. I love the team.
Yeah.
So it was easier than it could have been.
Yeah.
And there wasn't any sort of difficult members in the team, making it even more stressful for me. And as I said, I had support from above anyway. So it worked out fine.
Yeah.
We couldn't open because it was a
No,
crime scene.
could you not?
No.
To cancel patients?
Yep.
Wow.
So I then said, you guys go off. I'll wait and intercept the patients. And then people were working remotely to cancel the rest.
Yeah.
So that was really handy that we could do that. But
God.
it was a big deal.
Yeah.
Really big
And
deal.
were you closed for the whole day?
Closed for the whole day.
Imagine the cost of that.
I know. The impact from that.
Wow. Oh, and all the hassle of rebooking everyone and...
Yeah, but we had a part-time clinician at the time who did extra to help, which was great. Again,
That's nice.
great team.
Great
Everybody understood that, you
Yeah.
know, this is one of those situations we're going to have to muck in.
Yeah, absolutely.
Time for the Horton Hangout question. So the question that we've had come in this week is from owner and manager, and it's about a employee at the moment who is dental nurse 5 days a week, and now 3 of those days are going to be TCO.
Cool.
Okay. The problem is there's not been any real conversations around pay, what specific days it's going to be. All of the details and ins and outs have not then been thoroughly discussed and planned out. So they feel maybe they've done it a little bit backwards. And where do we go from here?
Wow. This happens a lot. So, like, firstly, let me just say, if this is you, thank you for sending this in. This is really common and it happens a lot. They've got excited. They've all got excited. We're going to have a treatment coordinator and we've got this person and, you know, yeah, you've done stuff back to front, right? So basically they've got excited. They've run before they can walk.
Yeah.
And it is common. I think what's really difficult is because you haven't worked out the pay, but yet this person sounds to me like they've been offered a job.
Right.
And this is where uncomfortable conversations now happen. And something that was going to be really exciting can end up being really negative, and then it's a non-starter. Or it gets started and it's just all going to fall apart. So I think one of the first things that I will always say to practices is that person is taking on the role 3 out of the 5 days. So some practices pay a higher hourly rate. So one thing I'll always say to practices in this situation is that person is working 3 days as a TCO, 2 days as a dental nurse. And if they are rotated on as a dental nurse for those 2 other days, they should not be expected to do anything else to do with treatment coordination in those 2 days. If that's the case, there are many, many practices that then pay the TCO rate just for the 3 days. Okay, so the dental nurse rate remains for the 2.
Yeah.
All right. Now, whether I agree with that or not is a totally different perhaps question or something to discuss for another pod. But I think one of the key things is to also remember that when someone is moving into a new role, they're in training. And you're likely to be making a significant investment in their training, their development, changes to the practice structurally, potentially. You will need to recruit another nurse for those other days. Your wage costs are going up, etc., etc. So I think for me, it's about that being really transparent in the communication as well. Like, we're making an investment. You are in training. This is going to be our trainee hourly rate or in training hourly rate. And once you are fully utilised in the role, once you're able to carry out all of the systems and you're able to, you know, do all of these things, then this will be your hourly rate.
Yeah.
So have 2 different hourly rates. You've got the one that's starting out and the one that's working towards. I personally feel, though, that one starting out should still be higher than what they're paid as a nurse because they're undertaking a lot of responsibility. This is a new baby. This is a new arm in the practice. The responsibility level there, especially if it's new to the practice, to get all the systems in place and to get it going is huge.
It's hard work.
If someone's stepping in, a year later, that's different. The hard work's already been done.
Yeah.
But I still do feel that there needs to be an increase in the hourly rate from the dental nurse hourly rate, and it needs to be apparent what the final hourly rate will be a year later, which will probably equate to roughly an extra £1 extra, in my opinion. So if you've got a dental nurse who's maybe on, I don't know, £13, £14, maybe you want to look to increase that initial salary by 75 pence to £1 in training, and then another £1 when they're completed.
Yeah.
But saying all of this, I would definitely also take some advice about the HR side of things. You know, you're welcome to drop into our DMs. We can speak to you and help you about this, because the HR needs to be right.
Yeah.
What about you when you became a TCO?
Again, it was uncomfortable because it was run before you can walk. And I was kind of asked and told I should do it. I didn't want to do it. I didn't like the idea of being alone with a patient with that level of responsibility. The role itself was already embedded into the clinic, but we wanted to make some huge changes to it because of the person previously in the role was kind of dictating her way, and it wasn't the best for the clinic. So they saw a spark in me that they felt was, appropriate. And I was like, oh, not sure. Hence why a couple of the conversations ago in pod 1, I said about me and a young lady sharing the role.
Yeah.
So that was kind of my introduction to it. We were paid the same anyway, so we kept it like that. There was no conversations of pay rises.
Okay.
There was eventually, but that was once I'd done 1.0 program.
Yeah. Were you already paid well as a dental nurse?
Yes, I was. So I didn't feel annoyed by it.
Yeah.
I mean, once I had taken on a lot of changes and then I'd done the additional qualification that, through you, and I'd been going through a lot of extra training, I did then feel like I'm delivering a whole different experience.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that should reflect in my pay.
Yeah, absolutely. And it did. It did.
Yeah.
And I guess that's also the difference is there are still some practices that aren't paying their team members the right hourly rate as a dental nurse.
To start with.
So that's just another mess. And then you're adding more skills to it. I'm all about salary banding.
Yeah.
So you are paid for the skills that, not just that you have, but for the skills that you use as well. So if you're a dental nurse and you've got your radiography qualification, you've got your base salary, and then you've got your radiography added on if you use it. If you don't use it, you don't get paid for it.
No.
It might not work in the practice you're in. For whatever reason, let's not even go there. It should work. Same oral health education. I'm an oral health educator. I would be paid for oral health education sessions that I delivered rather than it being in my hourly rates because it was, few and far between that was happening. So again, there's many different ways to skin a cat. But for me, you start with your base salary. If you've got a dental nurse who's qualified, and it also, I'd have different levels of, well, were they trained by you or trained from someone else, and then they've just qualified and come in?
Yeah.
Because we've got work to do with someone who's just qualified who hasn't been trained by us.
Yes.
We've got a whole year's journey to go on here at least.
At least.
So I've got different salary bands there. And then we've got this 1 year after qualify where we want everyone to be. And then we keep, adding different segments from there so that people can see the progression that they can make as well. And treatment coordination is one of those.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. Decon lead, compliance lead, all of these things we can keep adding in.
Yeah.
And it needs to be fair and transparent because everyone talks about their pay anyway.
I know. That silly rule, you're not allowed to talk about your pay. Good luck.
Yeah. It's happening.
They're doing it.
It's happened.
Yeah. It's happened and now you're late to the party.
Yeah, exactly.
They will talk about it.
Absolutely.
Because don't forget, it's such a small environment most of the time, I would say, or close environment. No matter how many surgeries you have or treatment rooms you have, it is very close-knit relationships that are built in dentistry.
Yeah. And when anyone new starts, everyone wants to know what they paid.
Yeah.
That's what they want to know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Press follow to make sure you get an immediate notification. We look forward to hearing from you. You can watch us on YouTube and, of course, listen on all the usual places that you enjoy your pods. Thank you for hanging out with us.